TV. Oh, we live.
A powerful new force is about to hit this city. From the dark side of the moon, this is the Cosmos Radio Network.
Welcome to the Biz Breaks Podcast. I am your host, Kevin the Credit Crusher, along with my beautiful co-host, Nikia Neal, the financial expert. And today we have a special guest on the show, Lester Brown, our mortgage lending guru, if you will. He's way past expert. He's our mortgage lending guru. So Lester, welcome to the Biz Breaks Podcast. This is we have real talk with real entrepreneurs, and we're glad to have you on the Biz Breaks Podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me. Long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lester, before we get into who you are, I'm gonna have you introduce you. Before we get into who you are, let me just let everybody know this is the Biz Breaks Podcast, where we have real talk with real entrepreneurs. We're here every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, broadcasting from our studios here in Chester, Pennsylvania. You can also see us live in our sister station out in London, England. We are broadcasting from all our Facebook platforms, YouTube, and Twitter. So please join us every Thursday, Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. All right, Lester Brown, mortgage lending guru, if you will. Please tell the people who you are, how you are, why you are.
I don't even know what that means, but I am a community lending mortgage consultant. So basically what I do is I try to help low to moderate income clients receive the necessary funding to purchase properties. It's a very unserviced population. They've been marginalized throughout the years in this country. So it's just an opportunity. The company that I'm with has created a specific task force to kind of go out there and reach the people that need it the most. So providing credit information, grants, bonds, all those programs that'll help people who look like us to get the quote unquote American dream, which is the home ownership.
You say unserviced, underserved. I know who you're talking about, but dive a little bit deeper. When you say underserved and unserviced, what are we talking about? Are we talking credit scores wise? Are we talking race wise? And we try not to get too political and too racy here, but we are clear that we are this podcast was geared towards helping the Black, Latino, marginalized communities understand how to put themselves in a better position. So talk more about that if you don't mind.
Yep. So it's like you said, Black, Latino, any people that have been kind of locked out of those opportunities. So normally when you think of when they talk about the wealth gap, it usually starts with home ownership. So they'll talk about the wealth gap between someone who's a homeowner and someone who's a renter. And I want to say it's like $170,000 difference between someone who's a homeowner and someone who's a renter. So it's basically a mindset where we have been taught in our community that renting is, I don't want to say cool, but renting is kind of the way to go. You'll see generations of people rent the same property. Parents have passed away. The daughter will now live in that same property, whether it's Section 8 or they're renting from, a landlord or public housing, whatever the situation may be. That property will get passed down from person to person. No wealth is being passed down. Just that rent payment is being passed down every month. So what the community lending space that I'm in tries to do is kind of educate as to the importance of mortgages. So most people in America aren't buying homes with cash. I think it's safe to say that. So most people who get a house in the United States are using a mortgage. So people say, well, why would I get a mortgage and the mortgage company is just going to be the owner of the property? Well, that's like saying, why would I get a car when the bank is going to be the person that's owning the car that I'm driving? So that's not necessarily the case. You have ownership in the property until you don't pay. So just like if you rent a property, you have the right to rent that property, live there, do whatever until you don't pay. Then the landlord is going to kick you out. So it's basically the same concept. The only difference is after 30 years of making those payments, the payments go away. So now when you pass on the house, you can pass on the house that doesn't have any payment. So now we can take that money that was going to, let's say the mortgage was $1,000, and now we can start investing that money. And now we can create real generational wealth because we're taking a big chunk of that payment and we're using it to other things that can build us money. Or we're renting the property out and stepping up to another property that we like, and we can use some of that money to fund, the big property that we're going to get. So there's so many different ways that you can leverage the mortgage experience to kind of propel you to the next level. But it's education is really the biggest key, getting out and kind of taking the mindset of the people who have for generations thought, I'm just going to rent. I'm just going to rent. I'm just going to rent. It's a hard conversation to tell them, hey, you have to make a hard investment up front because you got to have some skin in the game. This is ownership. This is not where, we're not selling t-shirts out here. So, the investment is going to be a little bit up front. That's why we try to use, bonds and down payment assistance to try to lessen the blow. But you still got to have some skin in the game because at the end of the day, if you do make that, make it through 30 years, now you have an asset that more than likely has grown in value. And you don't have any more mortgage payments. So you're looking at, you may have to pay taxes, homeowners insurance, things of that nature, which are, a couple $1,000s a year. So it's just education to me is the most important part of this whole mortgage process. Obviously, credit is big, but you have to break the walls down of their thinking before you can even get to credit. Because if you fix their credit, they may use that fixed credit to go buy a car. So, or they may use that to go get a credit card. So they're not thinking on the levels of, I have to use this mortgage as a vehicle to invest, that they're not going to do anything with that credit that we're working to repair.
Lester, are we being discriminated against? Real talk. This is real talk. Are we being discriminated against? When I say we, the Black community, the Latino community, are we being discriminated against in the mortgage?
So as a lender, I don't see it. And maybe that's because I'm on the front lines fighting for my clients. So I would only be able to tell you what I see for the clients that I work with. My clients aren't discriminated against. But if you're in a situation where you're going to a loan officer that doesn't look like you, he may have higher end clients in his or her pipeline. You may not get as much pushback as you would from somebody like myself who understands the importance of going back and forth with the underwriter, kind of getting around those hurdles that they can put up. And I don't want to say that an underwriter is going to purposely put a borrower in a position to not qualify. They're looking at the guidelines, and it's either you qualify or you don't. But as a loan officer, you can position your clients around those hurdles. So if the person is not invested in the borrower, then either the hurdle can be missed and you stumble over it. And once you stumble over it, it's almost too late because now the underwriter saw it and it's no coming back. Or they don't put as much emphasis as getting them around the hurdle. They're like, it is what it is, and there's not much I can do. There's a lot of creativity that has to go into a lot of these mortgages trying to get people into properties because their circumstances aren't necessarily as cut and dry as, someone 700 credit score, $200,000 buying a $500,000 crib. So it's more, you have to be more creative, and everyone doesn't have that creative mindset is what I would say.
Politically correct. I love the politically correct answer. I understand. I heard through your lines.
Right. You got me.
You know what I heard? I heard that if you want a mortgage, you need to come see Lester because he knows what he's doing. And he can help you get that deal done. That's what I heard.
Here's what I tell my clients. I say, listen, you can go to whoever you want to go to. I'm going to talk to you like the way I'm talking right now is the way that I'm going to speak to you. And I'm going to tell you the blueprint. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. It's up to you to do what I tell you to do. If you don't do what I tell you to do, then it's almost like you're making it harder for all of us. You're making it harder for me. You're making it harder for the team on the back end that has to collect the paperwork and submit this to the underwriter. And the underwriter, like I said, they are very, more times than not, they're very black and white. So our people have a tendency of wanting the hookup. Like, we love the hookup. We love the flim flam. So we love getting around rules that we don't even know are rules. Mm-hmm. Say, for instance, mattress money. We love not having documented assets. So you may have somebody, I'm not going to put any titles out there. You know, you may have somebody and they may have a whole bunch of money. And they come to me like, yo, I got $50,000, but I don't trust banks. So it's just, it's just in the crib, in my safe. So not earning any interest and I can't use it. So what I say is, listen, you have to find a way. That money has to be in the bank, because we have to be able to show where that money came from. And if you start doing it right before the mortgage, you're not going to be able to show it. We're not going to be able to use it. So it's a conversation. Take a dancer. So a dancer has a legitimate. Okay, maybe some people may not call it legitimate, but she had, they had. You're right. No. I'm talking about a ballet dancer. Right. I'm talking about KOD. Blue Exquisite, Delilah's. Right. They have a legitimate income source, but it's a cash-based business. So it's like, how do you, and they're not, I don't think they get like a W-2 or anything like that. So how are you sourcing that, that money? So, and they're like, I don't want to go to the bank and take, 6,000 in ones to make a deposit, hold up the line for, 2 days. Right. So same thing, any of those type of businesses. So that's why I say education is like, all right, if this is what you're going to be doing and this is the money that you're going to be using, then you have to get the money into the bank so that the underwriter can see it and we can give you credit for it. Mm-hmm. Even if you have to give it to, there's creative ways around doing it, but it has to be in there or else you can't get credit for it. The underwriter is not going to come to your house and look under your mattress to see that the money is in there.
Count them stacks.
Yeah, they're not gonna count them stacks. You can't hold it up. Yo, go to my Insta and you can see me. You can see me holding the bundles up to my head. No, you can't do that. Now the underwriter may go on there to disqualify you.
Right.
But
may backfire.
Right. So it's when I say creative, that's what I mean. And those are the type of conversations you have to have way before they even start to think about purchasing, because they have to be in a position to purchase. It's not just, I want to buy a house. Some people just aren't in a position to buy. And that's unfortunate, but it's my job to kind of give them the blueprint, say, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, come back to me in a year, you should be good. And then stay, checking with them every once in a while to make sure that they're doing what you tell them to do. But at the end of the day, it's on them to do what you need them to do. I can't get the mortgage for you. I can't make the payments. I won't make the payments. So, it's on you to kind of get that mortgage at the end of the day.
So Leslie, this show is about the entrepreneur themselves and not absolutely about the business, although we'll talk more about the business and how it works. But we want to know who Lester is. So what got you into the mortgage game? I got 2 questions for you. What got you into the mortgage game and what brought you to the passion of dealing with our community?
Yep. So I started in the mortgage industry, I want to say 12, 13 years ago now. And I started not even knowing anything about mortgages. I actually started as a housing counselor. So when I started, I worked for a nonprofit housing counseling agency, and I worked specifically with people going through foreclosure. So people would come to me on a Monday and be like, hey, my sheriff sale's on Friday. What can you do? I can't do anything. You've had, 6, 7, 8 months to kind of get that process in order. So I actually started at the end of the process and then worked my way back. So from there, I went into short sales and deed in lieu negotiation. So same thing, people losing their homes, and you're trying to, I was the bank at that point. So negotiating with the seller to figure out, if they're going to get some money, what they're going to do, make sure they leave the property in good order, all that kind of good stuff. Then from there, I started doing processing and underwriting type functions. So starting to learn the actual mortgage side from the middle. This is the middle part. Mm-hmm. And then from that, someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, you have a great personality, and we really think you would be good in, mortgage sales. And I was like, I'm cool. Like, I'm no, thank you. I'm not interested at all. But this guy was a master salesman, and he eventually wore me down. So he's like, listen, man, let me show you how much these top producers is making. So he came to me on the income level, and these dudes was making bank, and I'm talking a couple $100,000 a year. So he was like, what I can do for you is I can kind of put you on the path to getting to that level. Come to find out, the reason that was happening, in my opinion, was because they needed a Black person. Mm-hmm. Because at that time, I was the only Black loan officer in that company. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got here. The color of my skin got me basically into this game, because this is a predominantly white industry. So from mortgages to real estate to insurance, they're all white dominated males, mostly white dominated males. Yep. So when you look at the roster of loan officers, it was all vanilla, and then one dollop of caramel in the middle.
And a non-threatening dollop at that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very threatening. They just don't know I'm threatening. I don't threaten you till I'm in, and then I start threatening once I get the lay of the land. So by the time they found out I was threatening, I was out. I already transitioned to another position. So that's kind of how I got here. It's very challenging, and it's also rewarding. The reward comes in when you can take someone, let's say you take someone that you met at a first-time homebuyer seminar, and you give them the blueprint, and they do what you tell them to do, and then they buy a home. And then you follow up with them later, and it's everything that they thought it would be. Some people have horror stories, but most people usually have a good experience once they're into the property. So, I got into this business by luck, actually, just being in the right place. Oh, I should take that back. I don't think it's luck. I feel like it's something that was supposed to happen for me, because I was in that position at that time, and I had to accept the opportunity because he was getting ready to take it off the table. So I accepted it right at the appropriate time.
I don't believe in luck. I think you just got to be prepared for the moment.
Right. I definitely was not prepared. I wasn't prepared mentally. I wasn't prepared financially. I wasn't prepared.
What about skill set?
No skills at all. None. The worst. Like, I had no skills to do none of this.
Well, do you still consider that luck then, or like?
It's luck that I'm still here. Yes. I'm still, like, I don't know how I made it this far. Like, that was 5 years. I think it would be 5 years in August. I don't know how I'm still here. There's so many times I wanted to quit, and the universe won't allow me to quit for some reason. So I feel like something is supposed to happen with me in this space, or else the universe would have been like, go in another direction. Because I've tried to quit. I've tried to quit numerous times, and I've had financial breakdowns, like financial ruin, to the point where you're looking at your tax return, it's like, this is all you did? This is all you made? You a grown man. Like, this is horrible. Like,
that's real talk.
This is, and I tell people, like, my homie is a new loan officer. I'm like, bro, you going to struggle, my man. Like, you not going to just come out here and be doing $100 million in volume. He like, yo, I'm going to be killed. I said, hey, man, that's okay. If that's what you think you're going to do, then see you at the $100 million. Because when I came in, I put, this is how naive I was. I came in and I put 30 million on my laptop. So 30 million was like the volume that I wanted to do. And I'm like, yo, all you got to do is just envision, all you got to do is manifest.
Right.
And next thing you know, 30 million.
That, man.
Right. And no 30 million. I think 2 million came that whole year. 2 million. So it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Mm-hmm. And to stick with it was even harder because it's easy to just go out, get a job, sit behind a desk, and make your little whatever money you're gonna make, do whatever you're gonna do and keep it moving. But there's a reward that comes with not having to, like, I have managers and people that I'm responsible to and all that kind of good stuff, but I don't have to wait. Like, I don't need an alarm clock. Like, just wake up whenever I want. If I want to wake up at 12 o'clock, I wake up at 12 o'clock. If I want to call my clients at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or if I want to call my clients at 9 o'clock in the morning, like, no one's dictating what I do. On the flip side, if I only do 2 million in sales all year, ain't nobody going, you only did 2 million in sales. You can't blame anybody else but yourself. It's going to be a direct effort of the work that you put in is what you're going to get out. So that part was the hard part, learning what income activities were the ones that were actually, generating income. Because I would be the dude at all the networking events. Like, I would do at least 4 networking events a week. And I'm like, why am I seeing all the same people in here? Like, either we all not making money, which is bad, and we just here for show, or we all not making money and we all just in here for show. And I felt like that's what those networking events are. Because I would look like, yo, it's no person in here that's really eating. Like, you have people that may be doing okay, but you don't have a top producer in those networking. They're not there. Like, first of all, they've already built the network where it's now working for them. They don't have to go to those networking events. They may go to black tie events. Mm-hmm. They may go to some exclusive stuff that you're not going to hear about on Meetup or LinkedIn, but they're not going to be in those areas. So you're basically going to these events, meeting with the same 10, 15, 20 people, especially if you're in an area like Philadelphia and you're in the industry. Y'all all get the same email. So it's like, yo, what's up, John? What's up, Stacy? What's up, Keith? Oh, my man. It's like a big powwow, which is great. Like, but I'm not eating off of that. Mm-hmm. So it took some time for me to realize I got to get away from the networking events and start to get into other avenues. So that's kind of where I am now. I'm just doing much better. The days of worrying about where the loans are coming from are behind me. Now it's more so trying to increase.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. Yeah. So we're going to take a time out real quick. I just want Nikea to talk about who she is, what she does, and how people can reach her real quick.
So I am Nikea Neal. I'm here for all your personal financial needs. These commercials always sound really crazy. So listen, guys, this is the basis of what it is that I do. I help you put together a real financial game plan, one that you can stick to, one that's customized for you and your family, one that addresses what your needs are, whether that is, like Lester mentioned, saving for a home, making sure that you're in that pipeline, you're doing all of the things. Well, a lot of times you need somebody that's going to help hold you accountable, to make sure that you're saving that money, to make sure you're investing that money, to make sure that you have life insurance, that you put aside money for your children to build a legacy for your family. And then on the business side of things, if you are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, you can't forget about yourself. You need to have a personal financial plan as well as your business plan. Okay. So your personal financial plan, you want to be able to retire one day. Your business is not just going to do it for you. You actually have to have a plan set in place, and I can help you with all of those needs and more. The way that you reach me is 267-257-3274 or on social media, Nikea Neal on Facebook and on Instagram. Not on LinkedIn yet. I need to do that. Or you can reach me by email, nykeianeal@gmail.com.
Perfect. So Lester, we at the Biz Breaks Podcast are not discriminatory, but all of us have a passion for the African American community, and and I know we've been together. The three of us have been together. There's a fourth, and she'll be on here at some point. But we've been together for about 5 years now, and so I know everyone's passion for helping the Black community in our respective arenas. So, what got you? What brought you to that passion? Did you always have that passion for our community, or was it something that you saw during your journey that brought you there?
I definitely wouldn't say I've always had the passion. I've always had compassion. And I'll say, when I started out as a housing counselor, I felt beat up, not being able to help these people that are going through foreclosure, and you're watching people literally losing their properties to sheriff sale. This was right 2008 when the housing crisis happened. So you're watching people lose their homes. So I go to the owner of the housing counselor agency. I'm like, yo, bro, we're not really helping anybody do anything. Like, we have all these we were seeing, I want to say on average 6 clients a day. So I'm like, yo, I'm seeing 6 clients a day. Out of these 6 clients, none of them are really getting anything. He's like, yo, man, we're not selling solutions. We're selling hope. This is what he told me. So he said, we selling hope. So from there, it was like a shock that this is how commercialism, or is that the word, commercialism?
All the time. Capitalism.
This is how they think.
Racism.
Right. So it's like, you don't have, there is no one really there to help you. You're on your own at the end of the day. Even though they say you have resources, you really don't. You have things that look like, I'll take even down payment assistance. It's there to help, but most times it needs to be repaid, or you have to jump through so many hurdles for you to get it. So it's, everything has a catch. So I almost felt compelled going through my journey, and once I became a loan officer and kind of seeing how the mortgage industry was structured, and informing people like, yo, even if you get this money, it still has to be repaid. Not only does it have to be repaid, it's also usually bringing the value, it's eating into your profits, and as far as your value, because that's still a lien on the property. So I felt almost obliged to kind of inform people that these are things that's happening. They're there to help, but the real help is you helping yourself, coming up with a budget, coming up with a savings plan, saving money so that you don't need another outside company to help you finance something that you should technically be doing on your own. You go in other countries, I believe they pay their houses with cash. I believe America is one of the only countries that gives out mortgages. So I think it's just the mindset, and me being in it, it kind of created something in me that unfortunately I can't get rid of now. Yeah, fortunately I can't.
For us.
Right.
Good stuff. All right. We're going to jump to our tip segment. So in each one of the shows, we ask our guests to give us a tip, and we're going to give a tip on our own in our own arena. So give us one tip that you would give to somebody to help them get a mortgage.
Have a plan. Get your finances in order. Get your credit in order.
Talk to them now.
And understand the timelines. So if you have to move next month, you're not getting a house. It's just, you don't have enough time. So especially if you haven't done the other steps. So come up with a plan, figure out what it is that you need to do. Is your credit in order? Do you have money saved in order to be able to put a down payment down, to be able to cover some of the closing costs? And then the timelines. The timelines are very important, because depending on what you're trying to do, if you need outside assistance, that's going to increase your timeline. So usually the close is going to be 30 days. If you're doing, some down payment assistance, I may add another 15 days. So if you're in a time crunch, you need to know these things. So talk to, Kev for your credit, Nakia for, your savings plan. And then I'll tell you what you need to do from there. And then we get, the realtor involved and go from there.
And I wish, we're going to do another show with you on, and we're going to have Dawn on as well. Because
I was going to bring her on to sabotage, but I didn't think that would.
That would have been nice. That would have been perfect because we are the plan from start to finish to home ownership, right?
I'm gonna tell her y'all said that.
Yeah.
No, hopefully she's watching, but if she's not watching, we're certainly going to have her on the show, and then we'll have you guys on together because you're 100% correct. If we set the screen up right, Nakia would be here, I would be in the middle, you would be next, and then Dawn would be there, right? And that's the progression. Get the budget right, get the credit right, get the mortgage, and then Dawn will help you find the house. That's a great. That's
Dawn
a great
is
show.
very on top.
Yes.
So you know what? We'll do that show when we get closer to the springtime because I know that the home ownership there's an uptick towards the April, May months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll plan it for then. All right, Nice. You got a tip for us today? A financial tip?
Sure. I'll stick with the planning. So when you're sitting down and you one of the things that you need to do is go back to looking at what assets and things that you have and checking the beneficiaries. So a lot of people don't know that on your bank accounts, you can put a beneficiary down on your bank accounts. I just did it for my grandfather. Look at Kev's face. He's like, word? Yes. So, because you know those, what is those websites where people are like, they don't have money, they're finding money that was left and things like that. So when you have any bank account that you have right now, you can name a beneficiary. You need to go into the bank to do that. In most cases, I don't think that they offer it online, but you go in, tell the teller that you want to meet with one of the, people that's sitting down and that you want to add a beneficiary to your bank account. So you want to get that done and let the beneficiary know that they are a beneficiary. That's important. A lot of times people leave assets to people, but the person doesn't even know that they are a beneficiary. So they don't know what to look for. Going back and looking at your life insurance, who are the beneficiaries for your life insurance? Who are the beneficiaries for your investment accounts? If you were married and now you're divorced, did you change your husband from the beneficiary from, those accounts? You need to make sure that you look at that. And some of those accounts require a signature to be changed from the person that you want to change it from. So you want to be able to look at that to make sure that the money is going to the person that is intended to go to and that the person knows. Just really fast, I had a client of mine currently whose friend father passed away, and they were tearing up the house looking for the life insurance paperwork. They said they knew he had life insurance, but didn't know what company or anything like that, any of those details. I did send her a website that you can go to look at. Hopefully that they're able to find it. But guys, it's the planning now that you can avoid all of those things.
So Nice. What you're telling me is I need to go and put my daughters on as beneficiaries of my bank accounts and let them. Now, I don't know if I want to let them know.
Yeah, don't tell them.
That may lead to an untimely demise.
Unfortunate circumstance.
Right.
Oh, they should know, Kev, that you're worth more alive than dead. I mean, you should have that relationship with
that.
End up with a Menendez brothers situation.
Here's what you can do: get yourself a book, put all your important things in the book, have it listed out, and just put the book in the safe and tell them, "Hey, the safe is here for all the stuff that you need to know." Or like older people be having that drawer. Get out of the junk drawer, guys. Like, get yourself an actual book and organize this stuff in a book and not in the bin underneath the bed or any other. Yeah, not the junk.
Something that's fireproof, preferably.
Preferably. Good deal.
You can make it digital too, so they can.
That works too.
Yeah.
Good tip. Well, I'm gonna stay with the theme then. I had something else, but I'm gonna stay with the theme. So we're going on planning. Plan your credit, particularly your business credit. Plan to move from your personal credit to business credit because there's a host of savings in using business credit. You can save thousands of dollars by leveraging business credit, but you've got to plan for that. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to get your personal credit right because in the early stages of your business credit, you're going to have to leverage your personal credit to establish your profile. So make that a plan. I'm going to have $25,000 worth of personal credit, and I'm going to get $75,000 worth of business credit over the next 24 months, 12 to 24 months. Make a plan. We'll stay with that. All right. I like the theme. All right. So Lester, what we like to do now is we like to give real stories about our clients that describe and illustrate why a client would use you or use your services. Don't give names. Just tell us a story, whether it be a positive story or a negative story, but tell us a story about something a client did or did not do that illustrates why they should talk to you.
You have to give me a second to think about that.
I can give you your story right now because I have one of your clients.
Okay. Well, yeah. Who is it?
No.
Tell me the client.
Text it.
So you were talking about planning, and one of your clients had heard that she could move out of her apartment, but she made no plan. She put no budget in place. She didn't have the money to move out of the apartment into a house. She didn't have the credit profile. She came to you and she was basically, oh, I heard I could get out of my house and I could pay less in mortgage than I can in apartment. No plan whatsoever. And she came to me. So I'm just going to tell you a story.
Yeah.
She came to me.
Because I don't know who this person is.
Not important.
Keep going.
But my statement to her was, we've got to put a financial plan in place because you've got to have this down payment money, and your credit is messed up because you haven't had the finances to pay the bills. If you don't have the finance to pay your credit card bill, you're definitely not going to have the finance to keep this mortgage afloat, right? So, but they need to talk to you because I know you told her this. Your statement to her was, before you try to go and get it, because she asked you, go ahead and run my credit. And you were like, no.
Right.
I'm not going to run your credit. Go to my credit guy, talk to my budget lady, get yourself straight, come to me in a year, and then we can apply for that mortgage.
So, I mean, like I said, I think the biggest reason why clients are usually satisfied with me is I'm very candid. I'm going to be like, I'm honest almost to a fault. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to lie and overpromise and underproduce. I'm going to pretty much tell you what it is, because at the end of the day, I don't get paid until these loans close. So I don't understand the thought process of, pie in the sky or giving people unrealistic expectations. I'd rather just tell you, listen, you're not ready at this point. Let's reconvene 6 months to a year. And some people, they get upset. A lot of people get upset when I have that conversation, but I would rather have that conversation now than you go under contract. Now we pull the seller in, we pull an appraiser in, we pull money for a home inspection, we pull all these different resources, and you get the underwriting like, this person shouldn't even be on my desk. Like, why? And then those may be the situation where we're claiming discrimination, because we're like, we being discriminated against because they won't. No, you don't qualify. Like, you shouldn't be here. Like, you are down the street. So I think, listen, that's just how I am. And I think the honesty, and I think people can hear the compassion in my voice when I'm talking to them. Like, listen, I want you to get, like, I believe everyone should have a house. Like, I don't believe anyone should rent. I just think it's a waste of money. That's just my belief. So I would tell my clients, I don't want you to be paying rent. But the courses of your actions thus far leaves you with that being the only option for you at this time. So you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to get to a place where, I can take you seriously as a client. Because when I say yes, once I sign off on the pre-approval, if it don't close for whatever reason, they looking at me like, yo, you said this was good. What kind of loan officer are you? You don't check X, Y, and Z. So my name and my reputation, which is big in the referral-based business, is very important. So I'll have the candid conversations with the clients. So that's probably the best reason I would say. I don't want to give any stories because I might be telling on myself. So
yeah, that's fine. I got you. Nice, you got a story for us?
It's my turn. Is it ready? Okay. So working with an older woman who wanted to retire and sitting down, like I'm gonna stick with the same theme of planning, sitting down with her and looking at like all of the numbers. So really the most painful part of what we do, and this is just like as people. So that's what I really love about, us right now, you two, is that it's not about coming at anybody because we've been there and made these same mistakes and all of those things. So when it comes to the mindset and just the planning, and a lot of times we know better, we just don't do better, right? So just sitting down and looking at the numbers is like a scary thing, like looking at your expenses. So starting off with that budgeting. So I sat down with the woman, we looked at what her budget was, and then we got to all of the payments that was coming out. She was about, when it's said and done, $27,000 in credit card debt. Okay. Wanting to retire, but using credit cards to fund her lifestyle. Right. And then those payments start getting ridiculous because, you spent $300 for some goods and services. Now you're paying like $500 back, and that just can be so much. Wanting to retire, but looking like, heck, how am I going to do that? And what we ended up doing was she filed for bankruptcy. Now, Kevin's like, oh my God, no, don't say that. But all jokes aside, bankruptcy is a tool, that can be used, and it's not always it's not the end of the world. You have that option to be able to build. Look at our former president who claimed bankruptcy, I don't know how many times, but he filed for bankruptcy. She had a car that was in good condition. She was still making payments on, so she didn't add that in. She had a house. She's not moving anywhere. She's retiring. So she didn't need to use her credit now. She needed a restart. So I actually did consult with Kevin before we went through with that, looked at everything. He's like, this is the best option for her. She filed for bankruptcy. That's wiped off. And now, she was 63. She retired. She doesn't have all those payments for the credit cards, and she's doing well right now. And now they're sending her cards in the mail, for that process. And one of the things I will say about the bankruptcy process is that the process that they take you through, there's a lot of education that they do give you in terms of, spending and habits and they was talking about life insurance, all these different things. It was a financial education that she had never received prior to even doing that. So for her, bankruptcy worked in her favor. So that allowed her to be able to retire. And now, I'm still having that accountability with her to keep her on track. Like, we're not about to get back into that game with the credit cards. And she's doing well right now. She's living in retirement the way that she needs to. And that was her story for that.
Perfect.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So I have a client who planning came to me and wanted to start, or had already got in the process of starting a moving company, not a moving company, a furniture delivery company. And so they were going to buy they were going to lease a box truck to use to move the furniture. They deliver for, American Signature Furniture and other places. And in any event, through planning, we decided that she was going to use her personal credit to get the lease for the truck because she wanted to get it immediately. So she used her personal credit to get the lease for the first truck. But the plan was to establish and build her business credit profile. And once she got that profile built, we would flip that lease into business credit, and she was going to get another truck using the business credit. She was able to do that, and in doing so, she was able to save $12,000 because the business credit gave her better terms, way better terms than her personal credit gave her when she applied. So I tell people to come to me because we're going to put a plan together, and that plan is going to help you leverage both personal and business if you so desire to. Which leads me to why you would call Promethean Credit Counseling. If you want us to help you move into business credit and leverage that and save thousands of dollars over what you could spend in your personal credit, give us a call. Promethean Credit Counseling, 215-904-8690. Reach us on the web at www.promisien.com. That's PREMISIEN. Or you can email us at info@promisien.com. And we're on all social media with the name Promisien. Reach out to us and let us get that business credit popping.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a big deal. All right, Lester Brown. So we got some good stuff. So here's the deal. Real talk. This is real talk, right? And you've given us great real talk. Tell us about a time that you were going to give up. You alluded to that earlier in the conversation. What was about a time you were going to give up and what kept you going?
So I could say this whole middle of this mortgage career, I was going to give up. I think what kept me going was I'm a very I'm a control freak. So I like to control a lot of different things. So once I had the mindset that I can't necessarily control my outcomes as far as like income and all that stuff without taking control of the input that I was doing, that kind of kept me going, because I was like, all right, let me just change the input and stop looking at the outcomes. So I just focused on what I was putting my emphasis on. So instead of looking at how much money I don't have, I started looking at how much work I wasn't doing. And then from there, it kind of kept me going. So now I look at other people like, yo, I'm gonna try to catch a dude real quick, man. I think I can get him. So, but that's what kept me going, is just a shift in what I was focusing on versus, not looking at the negative and looking at the things that I can control, which was my output, and kind of tweaked a couple of things, and it's been smooth sailing since then.
That's good. That was a really good tip.
Yeah. You didn't give up. Focus on the outcomes, not the incomes. All right, that's good. Well, then let's jump into what we call our fast four. So we're going to ask you 4 questions, rapid fire questions. We want you to give us the answer quickly, succinctly, unscripted. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Book that had a great impact on your entrepreneurial career.
12-week year.
12-week year. Is that a follow-up to the 4-Hour Workweek?
I don't think so. He created like a whole program. How you doing? He created a whole program around basically shrinking your year into 12 weeks. The thought process is, if you push stuff out so far, it gets lost in the you having more time. So basically, it narrows your focus to 12 weeks, and you have to kind of get as much done as you can in 12 weeks, and then you'll see greater results over that calendar year.
I gotta get that, man.
How long did you read that? Because that just came up as a recommendation too. I put that in my Amazon queue. How long?
So they made us read it for work, and then he did like a presentation. At first I was like, man, this is trash. But then as I started, it's like, yo, this joint is actually all right. So he has like a system that goes with it, so you can, subscribe to the system and do your activities and all that kind of stuff. So it was a month ago I did the 12-week year.
That's good.
12-week year. All right, 12-week year. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Tool or resource that has helped you tremendously in your entrepreneurial endeavors?
Social media.
Oh, yeah, because you are good on social media.
Yeah. So for professional and for other things that I do outside of professional things. So I think the ability to leverage social media is something that we have to focus on, because it gives you the ability to reach millions from your phone versus trying to be out there, and you would never be able to reach all the people that you can reach through social media. So it's a matter of learning the algorithms and, what it takes to kind of be seen, and then the content. But once you get that stuff down, you'll start to reap the benefits of, using social media, even if it's from clients or meetings or meetings with people that can help you, or just different business meetings. You just never know what can happen from social media.
That's face though.
Yeah.
Well, can y'all see me?
Yeah, we can see you. Yeah.
Man.
He say something else. Give me another.
Envy, yo. I'm so envious of you, man, on
Why?
social media, dude. Because you have it down pat, and it's.
Man, let's have a show first of all.
I do have a show. So
well,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it took mortgage is actually what got me into social media, because I first started, I'm very introverted. So I don't like being around a whole bunch of people. Yes, I'm very introverted. So I noticed from doing these networking events, like I would just go stand off in the corner and not really talk to anybody, because I don't really like interacting with new people like that. Social media gives me the opportunity to still be, outgoing and continue to reach the people that I may not have been able to reach face to face.
That's good, because that's how you and I met through social media.
Yep. Social media.
Yep.
Social media brought us here, so you can't.
That's good. All right, cool.
We scheduled a business lunch, and then we brought the team together.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Fusion.
Biggest challenge you had to overcome, quick.
Not having any sales skills in a sales industry. So yeah, I didn't know anything about sales. And I still don't consider myself a salesperson. But learning just a follow-up that goes into it, the tenacity that it takes to kind of stay on top of a client to get them to the closing table. This is stuff I had to learn. I didn't know any of that going in.
That's good.
One thing you wish you'd learned earlier in life that would have helped you at this point, or
investing.
Oh, good. Investing.
Yeah. I don't even need to say anything other than do something. I don't even know, even if it's $20, do something. Compounding interest will make your life a lot easier down the road. It's something I'm trying to teach my kids now as they're young, so that once they get to my age, they won't be looking at in my pockets like, yo, I should be able to be in your pockets because you should have millions at this point. So yes, I'm talking to you. So yes, investing.
I can send to you that's it's like a guide for parents that will help you teach them some of those things. So I'll email it to you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. In honor of Black History Month, we're going to add a 5th question. We usually do 4, but it's Black History Month. We want to respect and honor that. So one African American that has had an influence on you, whether it be personal, professional, someone you know or someone you don't.
Anyone who knows me knows I'm going to say Malcolm X. Yeah, absolutely. More so his personal than, I look at him from a business perspective, like, you have some work, my man, but from the discipline that he had, I think if half the people could have the discipline and the courageousness that he had, the world would be a much better place. So yeah, definitely Malcolm X over any other person for Black History Month.
That was good.
That was Lester Brown.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We love your story. We appreciate you. We appreciate you both on and off the air for what you do and what you mean to us. We are definitely going to have you on this again. We're certainly going to have you on with Dawn again. There's no question about that. Individually, you guys are great. Collectively, superpowers. So we appreciate you. But before we let you go, let everybody know who you are and where they can find you.
Yeah, so Lester Brown, right now with Prosperity Home Mortgage. We talked about my journey of different mortgage companies. The easiest way to reach me, you can just call me or text me, 856-270-6579. From there, we'll have a conversation and we can figure out, if you can move forward a mortgage or if you need to backtrack and start at the beginning. So, quick text message. My phone will send out all my other information. So the text message gets the ball started for you.
Say that number one more time.
What, the number? 856-270-6579.
Yep. So if you're looking for a mortgage, Lester is our guy. We've used him. We've sent him referral after referral. If anybody's looking for a mortgage, I always send them to Lester first. So reach out to him if you need a mortgage and let us get that plan together.
Absolutely.
So Lester, we appreciate you. And everybody else, thank you for joining the Biz Breaks Podcast here on the Cosmos Radio Network. Like I said, we're here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Showtime, the Hype Man. He's one of the personalities here, and he's the one that gave us the platform. Shout out to our partner out in London, England, Sean, DJ Sean, big man out in England. And so we appreciate you guys. Please join us. Again, you can find us on Nikea Neil's Facebook page. You can find me on my personal Facebook page or my Promethean business page. You can find us on the YouTube page at Promethean. You can find us on Twitter at Promethean as well. Or you can find us on the Cosmos Radio Network USA pages. Just look them up. We'll see you guys again next Thursday on the Biz Breaks podcast here on the Cosmos Radio Network USA.
A powerful new force is about to hit this city. From the dark side of the moon, this is the Cosmos Radio Network.